on tonight. Even if I've got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it can get dangerous. See, these people I ride with. This moment, we own it.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Birch Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Birch is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Hi, I'm Linda Kilgore. This is my 35th year with State Farm, my 25th year here in Campbell County. I'm not a high-pressure salesman. I like to just sit down with my customers and help them decide what's right for them. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
Now, talk a little bit about the personal trainers. How good are they down here?
They're very great. We love Howard. He's very good with people. He always has people in here. He's working with them really well. They're seeing results. He's one of the best that we have, I would say.
So now, would you guys recommend your friends to come to Castleton as opposed?
Absolutely. We got a lot of friends who actually have started coming here, and I would recommend this gym for any other gym in the Follette.
Families work out nowadays. Is this a good family?
Yes, it's very family oriented. They have places for the kids to play in the back if they're coming in while the parents are working out.
Right.
And it's very family oriented. There's things for everyone to do, really.
Hello folks, this is Robert again from your Sears Hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed or having a backache or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears Hometown store. So come on down to your Sears Hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Portnoy at the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, riding with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Hello, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of Just Sports, and also welcome to your Hometown Sears studio. For my executive producer, which is right through the window, Miss Honeybee, my name is Les Martin. I will be co-hosting the Just Sports show tonight for an hour-long show. We will have Coach Matt Price, the defensive coordinator for the Campbell County Cougars, joining us here momentarily via the telephone. It's almost football time. Almost football time. Let me grab this phone call. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You're on the air. Hello, Miss Kay. How are you?
Son, guess what?
What?
I am better.
You're better?
Yeah, out for my cold. I was ready for my cold. I am better. I like 2 more pills to take and I'm sick.
Well, good. So you took my advice and went to the doctor?
I never went to the doctor. And I talked to the doctor and told him I was sick and he just said, do I have a sore throat? I said, no, I just trouble him. I just lay around all the time.
Oh, okay. So he prescribed you some antibiotics, correct?
Yeah.
Good. So you're getting all better. Well, you know, I'm
better. I was not myself on Easter Day. I was not myself. I was not feel good at all.
Yeah, okay. So you're starting to feel better today, though, right?
I am better.
Oh, good. Good. Because, you know, it's almost football season, and we got to get you in shape for football season. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just wanted to check and make sure.
Okay.
All right. Now, let me ask you a question. I've got to get to my sponsor, so let me ask you the question. Who's your favorite team?
Go Cougars.
All right. We'll see you Thursday.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Miss Kay Grizzle, she calls in every time we do the show, and you know what? I've been a little inconsistent actually with the show, on that one night and off the next night, and it's simply because of the fact that we've had some personal tragedies that we've been faced with, but all that's over now, and Mr. Kobe, he had to take some time off to deal with that as well, and I can't say that I blame him. I would have done the same thing, and of course Brent, he's no longer with us at the time being. He's taking some time off as well. So lucky you're stuck with me. So before I get started, as always, I've got to talk about our sponsors, and our sponsors is very important to the show. They are the ones that makes this possible for all of us to enjoy. So I certainly hope that you enjoy tonight. I may stumble a time or two, but that's okay. I think if Colin Cowherd can do it, I should be able to do it. First and foremost, we want to say thank you to Charlie's Pizza, often imitated, never duplicated, for 39 long years. Folks, they've been doing pizza the old-fashioned way. I mean, let's stop and think about it. The pizza is the same and has been for years, and the ingredients never change. They don't see something new and try to go out and try to invent something new to get you to like what they do. They just stick to what they have done for so long. They not only have pizza, but they have grilled chicken, they have hot dogs, hamburgers, Philly cheesesteak, you name it, they've got it. I've seen a sign where they've had chili before and beef stew, so they've got a lot of different things you can choose from. It's just not pizza anymore, folks. So for call-in orders, their phone number is 562-0116. Or if you'd like to go in and sit down, it's a great family environment, great family atmosphere. They do fantastic. Open Monday through Saturday, of course closed on Sunday for the Lord's Day, and I thank them for everything that they have done for us and will continue to do for us. Also, we want to say thank you to Sears, your hometown Sears store in the Food City Center of Woodson's Mall. Their phone number is 562-7700, 562-7700. Also, anything that you need inside or outside of your home, it doesn't really matter, folks. They've got it. From weed eaters to lawn tractors to how about a stove and refrigerator, washer and dryer, mattress box springs, washing powders, you name it, they've got it, hand tools, and they can order a ton of other stuff as well. So if they don't have it in store, don't worry, they will find it for you. The phone number, once again, is 562-7700. Also, State Farm Insurance, Miss Linda Kilgore. She's been in business for 35 years, folks. She's been an adjuster. She's been through many different claims with a lot of different people. When tragedy strikes, why have a cut rate insurance when you can have State Farm? Her phone number is 566-5000, 566-5000 for any and all insurance needs. They also have, the way I understand it, financing for vehicles now. For automobiles, they have financing as well. Castleton's Fitness. Step into Castleton, step out a brand new you. It's probably the best gym it is the best gym. There's no probably to it. It's the best gym in the county. They have 14,000 square feet of equipment. They have showers. They have a registered nurse on staff. They have a ton of ellipticals and the walking machines, treadmills, free weights, machines. They also have trainers available. They do Zumba, kickboxing, CrossFit training, just to name a few things. And the CrossFit, the Zumba, and the kickboxing is included in your membership. So make sure you go in, step into Castleton, step out a brand new you. The phone number is 566-1393, 566-1393. And last but certainly not least, Bird Screen Printing, downtown La Follette beside the Birds Memorial Bridge. Of course, you can see the sign behind us. The sign is, they created that for us, the masterpiece. And we had all the kids to sign this, put their autograph on that sign that's ever been on the show. They make uniforms, baseball uniforms, basketball uniforms. They do different kind of political signs. Anything that you really need, folks, they can do it. Their phone number is 566-3044. 566-3044 is their phone number. Go down and see Kobe, Larry, and Dawn, Delta Dawn. They can take care of you at Bird Screen Printing. Now, I don't want to really get into anything right now, but just to give you a few things that we're going to talk about. And when I say a few things, as Little Earl would say, or I'm sorry, Big Earl. I miss Little Earl. As Big Earl would say, how long is your show? An hour? Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air?
What's going on, Lynn?
Not a lot, buddy. How about you?
Same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
And how's everything on your side of the block?
Good. Absolutely fantastic. And can I put a plug in for you?
Go ahead.
This is Matt, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Folks, let me tell you something. I've got to do this, and I normally don't do something like this, but if you need a new car or a new car to you, a used car, go down and see Mr. Matt Bowens at Short Redmond Ford. He will take care of you. That's where he's working at. He has sold some cars. He will treat you right. He will get you into the payments that you need. He will also get you into the car that you want. So there's a plug for you, Mr. Matt.
Thank you. That's a good one. I appreciate that.
No problem, buddy. Anytime.
Good. You're a great man. I have a couple quick questions. Are you going to the spring game for UT?
Probably. I would like to.
They was talking about on the radio today how important it was for them to fill the stands. How important do you think it is to, get a lot of people there for them?
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, let's face it. Nebraska had 78,000 folks at their spring game. That was more than any spring game of all last year, period.
They said if they pull in about 30,000, 32,000, that's what the number they're trying to get. Do you think it's going to be like that small of a number, or do you think it's going to be a lot bigger?
No, I think it's going to be much bigger than 30,000. Last year, how many was there last year? I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 60,000. 60,000.
I'm not 100% on that one.
Wow.
I don't know.
I'm not either. I want to say 60,000 or 50-something thousand people. I'm not for sure. Just to be honest with you, Matt.
Well, I know there's a lot of freshmen that played last year.
Right.
Of course, they're sophomores now. Do you see anybody that's left, if they left earlier, if they're seniors, you see any freshmen trying to maybe step up?
I don't think that you will see a lot of freshmen this year simply because of the talent that we had last year as far as the freshmen. And can you do me a favor and call right back, because I've got Coach Price calling in.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, buddy. Hello, Coach Price. How you doing, buddy? I'm sorry, I was on the other line. I apologize.
Oh, that's fine, Les.
I know that you guys take precedent over everybody else, but I had a great call, and I'm so glad that you took time out of your busy schedule to join us. I know that your schedule is only going to get busier as spring ball gets closer. Is that right?
Yeah, we actually just had our first coaches meeting tonight to kind of prepare for the spring. So, yeah, I think we Kevin and I, it's less than 3 weeks away. So, May the 4th is the first day. So it's going to be here before we know it.
May the 4th is the first practice?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. As a defensive coordinator, do you ever, and I've always wanted to ask you this question, Coach, but as a defensive coordinator, have you ever wanted to call an offensive play?
Yeah, I'm sure Justin hears me trying to call a few on the field, but there's times, I think sometimes calling the defense, you feel like you know more offense just because you're trying to stop it, so you try to get all the details you can, the ins and outs of whatever scheme it is that they're running, whether it, Gibbs runs an option offense, or if you're playing somebody like Clinton who's going to throw it 40 times a game. So, we break down more offensive plays a lot of times. So, yeah, there's times I feel like I'm an offensive coordinator for the other team, though.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I was just kind of curious because, let's face it, you've been around your brother for a long time, and you all have meshed extremely well together. I know that for what you all have done for Campbell County High School and the community is just great. It's huge. It's something that you all have brought winners to the community. The community is starting to look at the football program now as a winning program. And of course, I've had some questions. Some folks have asked me some questions in this off season about how do I think that we'll do this year, and I think we're going to do fine again this year. As far as your defense, you've lost some key contributors on defense, but at the same time, you started a lot of sophomore and juniors last year. Do you feel like that you're going to pick up right where you left off last year?
Yeah, I do. I think, if you look at our offense last year, we had everybody coming back, Jeffers and Elkins and Torres and Preston and all those offensive lines. I think we had 9 seniors that were returning, where, the year before we lost Nick and Andrew and Corey and those guys. So I think it's a tell now. It's kind of reversed this year, where defensively, I think we're returning 8 starters, and and Austin Raines, who starts as a sophomore, he's going to be a great leader for us, a senior, and Jacob Bunch, another guy that starts since he's a sophomore. So those types of things are invaluable as far as having a defense that's experienced and has seen a lot of things. Just like our offense last year, I felt like we had some growing pains early on in the season on defense. Our offense was able to kind of pick up the slack, and I think next year, maybe early on, it may be just the opposite. But we're defensive. I'm excited about it. I know we got some big kids up front. We linebacker. It's top to bottom. It's the deepest I've ever had since I've been coaching. Not been a very long time, but 8 years now, and I think we looked at it tonight, just looking at some numbers and stuff. I think we could start tomorrow with 8 guys that are ready to play 4 spots. So be too deep and a solid 2 deep at each position in our 3-4 scheme is very promising.
Well, that leads me to my next question. As far as since you've been here at Campbell County High School, has that changed? I know that being too deep has changed, but what do you think has changed the most since from the time that you got here until today at the Campbell County High School football program?
I think the biggest thing is probably just expecting to win, and not that you're always going to win every game, but, it might be this particular play. I think, our kids, over the last couple of years, we've had some close games that come down to the end that, the year before, our second year, we lost, whether it be at Powell at home and, we were tied with them with a minute to go, or, I think about Hardin Valley that same year, we just found a way, not necessarily found a way, but things just, the ball didn't bounce our way, or our kids just, they kept waiting for a mistake to happen, where, the last 2 years it's been, we kind of had this expectation of somebody's going to make a play for us to win this game, or, this is what we're supposed to do. And I think it's just that mindset. Our kids have worked hard since day one. I mean, going back to when Tuffy Shoot's senior year, and even though we were late on the scene, those kids worked extremely hard for us. And, it was just that mindset of, experiencing some close wins and seeing that it can be done. And I still think that's been the biggest thing for me since, over the last 4 years. And just the expectation that, we're going to win and we can win, and we just got to find a way.
As in times past, before you all got here, we had a couple of, I think, 2 or 3 winning seasons back in 2004, 2007, and maybe another one in between there. But for the most part, the mentality, and I say the mentality because you have to learn to lose just like you have to learn to win. That's my opinion.
Exactly.
But how hard was it to change that mentality with those kids coming up through the ranks over the last 3-4 years?
The biggest thing, and I know it's very cliche, but we really sit inside our walls up there at the field house. We just didn't really talk about the wins and losses. And, we knew we could see signs of us getting better. It didn't show on the scoreboard or in the win-loss column, but we saw, we're getting better. And that's what we tried to get our kids to focus on was, we didn't talk about the negative side of it of any game those first couple of years. It was always come in and say, hey, guys, this is what we did great. Now, we obviously, we knew we had some things to correct and get better on, but kind of, I think a lot of people say, perception is reality. So we kind of wanted to perceive our kids as, you're winners even though you're not winning. And, I think it helped, and it made the transition a little bit easier. And then, to me, a lot of people ask just one moment is probably that Powell game, our second year at home, and they blocked that field goal late and ran back for a touchdown to beat us. But they were a top 5 team in the state and went on to the semifinals, and realistically, we're probably 16 yards away from beating them. And ever since that game, it's just been easier for our kids to realize what the potential that they have. And because the talent's always been, in my opinion, in Campbell County since 75 when the program started. It was just a matter of probably keeping them at the school, and then if they're in the school, getting them out on the field. So the mindset is just as hard as it is, as easy as it is to kind of get that losing mentality. I think if you can have some wins, you can reverse that pretty quickly, and I think that's just kind of what happened. It got contagious, and our kids just ran with it, and it made it easy on us. We just kind of had to guide them in the right direction, and we had good kids like Ethan Jeffers, who kind of set the standard as being a model student on and off the field. So it just made our job a lot easier.
As far as and now I'm going to change things up for you, because here's what I've always thought. I've always thought that it took more energy to be negative than it was to be positive. I mean, I've always thought that. But to change it up just a little bit, Coach, you talked about your linebackers. What about your defensive line, and how do you look as far as on the defensive front?
I think pretty solid. We, I think late in the year last year, we were starting 3 sophomores with Tate Webb, Mike Rhodes, and Tanner Boston. And, late in the year, they played well. I mean, they had some experience. They had some growing pains, but, we started those 3 guys late in the year. Just was our best at the time, gave us the best chance to win. And those guys have worked tremendously hard this off season. And, I think we know the potential of that 3, but I think more importantly is going to be finding some guys that can come in and either, I'm not saying a starting role or a backup role, but just a guy another few quality guys that can step in, and when their number's called, whether it's as a starter or a backup, if they're prepared and ready to go in there and keep the thing going.
Well, I know that I'm very excited to get this thing going, and I know spring practice, you said it starts May the 4th at the high school. And stop and think about it. Spring practice will last the month of May, correct?
Yeah, we go 3 weeks, Monday through Thursday, and we actually have a scrimmage the second Thursday. I don't have the date in front of me, but it's against Powell, and it's at home. We've been going to South Doyle over the last few years, but we're actually going to get a home scrimmage this year against Powell. And then the following Thursday, that 3rd week, will be the Blue North game at home. So there's some good opportunities there for our kids to be in some competitive environments. Plus, playing at home is always, whether it's a game or a scrimmage, it's always nice when you just walk out the field house and be ready to go. So, and plus we got some opportunities for some kids to step up, not only offensively but defensively as well, and some new names. It's going to be different. Not seeing Torres and Jeffers and Elkins and some of those guys out there. So, but at the same time, I think we got another good class coming up. We got some strong juniors, big classes of junior class, and then our seniors are smaller numbers, but they're great kids and have been with us 4 years, and they've seen a lot of ups and downs, but for the most part, they've been on a lot of ups. So hopefully we can keep this thing going.
I know for the first couple of years, you was what I would call rebuilding a program. But now, in such just a short few 4 years, I mean, this will be your 4th year. It seems like that you're ready to reload more than rebuild. Does that seem to be the case for you as well?
Yeah, I just think it's, I like that term, but I also just think it's there's been a standard set by the previous classes of, it means a little bit more to play up there. It means something to wear the jersey, and when you go somewhere, you want to hand yourself some class. And I'm gonna say we're never going to judge our program on the wins and losses, and we all know that winning's a lot more fun than losing. But at the same time, I mean, the standard of, we play with class. Our kids always play hard, and they play with the rules, and I think that's kind of what we've done as well, is kind of create a very competitive environment up there and a winning attitude. But at the same time, I think we've done it the right way, and our kids they work hard, and they understand about investing. And we do a speed training on a Tuesday and Thursday morning at 6:45, and we have 30 kids that come every day. So it just shows their level of commitment and how much it means to them to invest in the program.
I know you run a 3-4 defense. You always have since you've been here, and to the best of my knowledge, you run a 3-4 defense at Anderson County as well. Is that correct? Have you ever thought about going to a 4-3?
We've thought about it, and there's some times where I think we've even played around with it in spring, but it's just our personnel, especially for the next few years, really fit 3-4 scheme. But in high school, it's the thing is you don't get to go out and recruit your own players, so sometimes you have to go with a 4-man front, or like right now we're heavy at linebacker, so a 3-4 fits us perfectly. But I mean, there's obviously a chance that you can always go to that. That's why I say sometimes high school coaching is a little harder than college coaching, just because you can't go out and, hey, I'm going to recruit 3-4 scheme players or 4-3 scheme.
Well, I was just kind of curious. It was a thought that crossed my mind some time ago, and I just never did have the nerve to ask you. And it's certainly not because I don't think that you do a very good job with the 3-4. I think you do a great job with the 3-4. And having the kids to do the 3-4, my personal opinion, this is my opinion again, I think that doing a 3-4 defense is harder. It's harder to play a 3-4 defense than it is a 4-3, in my personal opinion. Is there any truth to that?
I think there at 4-3 there's a lot more just basics of it, as far as you're going to line up in this front. Linebackers have these roles, where 3-4 you can be a little more multiple, and you can send different guys, so a little more thinking involved as far as the guys got to know which way they're going to slant, or they're going to play a head-up technique. But the thing that I've seen, and just from talking to Justin and my time in it, and even with Coach Kerr in Anderson County, when he ran a 50 defense back when he was at Hall in Anderson County, but a lot of 50, 3-4, it's all the same. I think we've done, our kids do a good job of understanding the scheme and knowing where they fit. And if we make a call, we don't have many calls on defense, but we make one. They seem to know where to go, and they want to execute at a high level.
Well, Coach, I tell you, I have certainly enjoyed watching the defense every year that you and the coaching staff has been here. I'm certainly going to look forward to watching it again this year, simply for the fact of, like you said, there's some small numbers as far as seniors, but they're great kids, and then you have a large junior class. You're probably going to have some sophomores that's going to play much like you did last year. And yes, it is true. I look at it as reloading instead of rebuilding. Y'all have done a great job with everything that you all have done, not only with the kids, but with the community, with the school. The attitudes, even the attitudes are different, not only for the kids, but for the parents and for the community. So with that being said, I certainly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight. And thank you so much for what you do.
I appreciate it, Les, and I appreciate you guys covering us, and I look forward to talking about it. It seems like it snuck up on us, but it's here, and I hope you guys get a chance to come up and watch us practice and at least make it up to the scrimmages and the blue and orange game.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be there, brother.
All right, Les, I appreciate it, and I hope you have a good one.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, see you, buddy.
Bye-bye. Coach Matt Price, the defensive coordinator for Campbell County High School. In my opinion, folks, he's an absolute genius. To take a high school kids, and like he said, to have some kids that you can't recruit, and to go out and do what he does with a 3-4 defense, because my personal opinion, it is much tougher to play a 3-4 defense than it is a 4-3. So you're teaching these kids, like Coach Price said, how to slant, where if they're going to play head up, if they're going to play here, if they're going to play there, if he's going to blitz, or if that one's going to blitz. I mean, a lot more it's mentally challenging for kids at that age to run a 3-4 defense, and he has done a great job with that and with the kids so far, and he will continue to do so. So with that being said, folks, we got to step away for a short commercial break. I can't believe we burned through the first 30 minutes, but we have. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about college basketball, not a whole lot. We're going to talk about college football and the injuries to players in spring games and spring training. Is it really worth it? Make sure that you think about that. If you'd like to call in, the area code's 423-566-1450 or 423-562-3557. And before we go, let me get this other call. Before we go, Honeybee, let me get this other call. All right, thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air? Hello? Okay. I can't hear him. He must have his phone on mute. Anyway, we're going to step away for a short commercial break. You're watching Just Sports on WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Bird Screen Printing, 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Bird is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Now talk a little bit about the personal trainers. How good are they down here?
They're very great. We love Howard. He's very good with people. He always has people in here. He's working with them really well. They're seeing results. He's one of the best that we have, I would say.
So now, would you guys recommend your friends to come to Castleton as opposed?
Absolutely. We got a lot of friends who actually have started coming here, and I would recommend this gym for any other gym in the follow.
Families work out nowadays. Is this a good family?
Yes, it's very family oriented. They have places for the kids to play in the back if they're coming in while the parents are working out.
Right.
And it's very family oriented. There's things for everyone to do, really.
Hi, I'm Linda Kilgore. This is my 35th year with State Farm, my 25th year here in Campbell County. I'm not a high-pressure salesman. I like to just sit down with my customers and help them decide what's right for them. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
Folks, this is Robert again from your Sears hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed, or having a backache, or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears hometown store. So come on down to your Sears hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Portnoy at the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, riding with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands. Because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome back to the Tuesday night edition of Just Sports. My name is Les Martin, along with my executive producer, Honeybee. I'm flying solo, as you all can tell, and I'm okay with that. I personally want to say thank you to Brent Allen and Kobe Burge for sitting in with me many times, and they're off doing other things right now, and hopefully one day they'll be back. But if not, we'll continue doing what we do. I want to talk about college basketball, but just briefly. I don't want to really get into it because, college basketball season's over. But Coach Martin, the basketball coach for Cal, used to be, of course, everybody knows, college basketball coach for the University of Tennessee. He didn't have any big recruits at the University of Tennessee. And I talked to a guy today in Kentucky, which he is a diehard Kentucky fan. Poor soul. But he says the reason why Coach Martin could not recruit at the University of Tennessee was simply because of the fact that the Vol fans was in his ear, nagging. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if the fact that he just came here to buy his time until the next job came along. Apparently, that's what it looked like it has become or has happened. But he lands a 5-star recruit for the University of California today. Very surprising to me. A 5-star recruit that he took from Arizona, if my memory serves me correct. Here's the good thing. Rick Barnes, the new coach for the University of Tennessee, has been known for great recruits, great recruiting classes. But here's what worries me. I haven't heard anything about what Coach Rick Barnes is recruiting for next year's team. On the other hand, I have heard about what he's recruiting for 2016. Coach, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we need somebody next year in 2015 for the 2015 class. We don't need him for the 2016 class. I mean, we do, but right now we need someone now. We need to start going out there and recruiting. And to me, they say no news is good news, but I'm just a little impatient. because with the fact of not hearing anybody's names out there that may be coming to the University of Tennessee because of Rick Barnes, kind of worries me. Now, he may be able to pull a rabbit out of his hat here in the next couple of weeks, whatever the case may be, because signing day is coming up for college basketball. So with that being said, you know, let's see what he's got up his sleeve. Outside of that, I was in Kentucky yesterday. I was in Kentucky today, and I do want to tell the fine folks of Campbell County and the folks that's watching across wherever you may be watching, they are running sales on the University of Kentucky basketball shirts, 2 for $5 in the state of Kentucky. They're trying to get rid of the University of Kentucky basketball shirts that they had this year. None of them say 40-0. There's none of them that say 38-1 either. But because they didn't win the national championship, they're needing a whole lot of money to get to the university in a timely fashion because they just lost 7 recruits as well. But all jokes aside, I picked Kentucky to win the national championship. Of course, they didn't. Everybody knew what happened. I don't like Duke. I wish Duke hadn't won the game. I hadn't won the national championship. There are some folks here in town that like Duke, just like there's some folks here in town like Kentucky. I do not like either one of them, but like I said, I picked Kentucky. All right. Let's talk about some college football. April 25th at 4 o'clock, University of Tennessee will have their orange and white game. Now, I'm going to pose a question to the folks that's listening. And if you all want to call in, feel free to call in at 566-1450 or 562-3557. Here's the deal. College football is a huge multi-million-dollar business. I do say business. It is a business. Just in case if you hadn't figured out, they just got finished paying Urban Meyer, Ohio State, $6.5 million a year. That is behind Nick Saban. Where's that money come from? It's ticket sales, it's concessions, it's all types of different donations and all types of different sales and their bowl game money. I mean, it's all of it. But spring practice is going on right now for a lot of Southeastern Conference teams. But my question to you is spring practice going a little bit too far because we have a lot of injuries during the spring? For example, Roderick Johnson, I know you probably don't know him. He doesn't play for the University of Tennessee, but he plays for the University of Florida. He's a Florida Gator. He's an offensive lineman. He got hurt. He hurt his hand, which might be career-ending for an offensive lineman. Of course, you know they have to use their hands. Alvin Kamara, Jalen Hurd is out for the University of Tennessee. They're running they're using running backs that's walk-ons at the University of Tennessee during spring ball. Does that seem to be an issue come April 25th? I don't know. Jalen Hurd and Alvin Kamara may be back. But I guess my question to you, and I'm going to answer this as well, is the injuries outweighing more of the spring ball than it is the kids really learning? I mean, is spring practice really for the whole team, or is it just really for the freshmen? I don't know. My personal opinion is I would think that with spring ball and you have a lot of injuries, I know they have plenty of time to heal up. I mean, they've got from April 25th after the game until sometime in August. I understand all that. But still yet, some kids have lost careers during spring ball, spring practice for these colleges. And the only thing they'll have to show for it is the fact that they'll get a scholarship. They'll be allowed to finish getting a scholarship. But I guess my point being is I think the spring ball needs to go away. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know. The Vols have a ton of injuries. It's one of those situations to where they can't get healthy quick enough. The offensive line is nicked up for the University of Tennessee, and I guess that's expected since they're putting on pads and they're going out there and hitting each other and things like that. But it's still one of those situations to where I think the spring ball needs to go away. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air?
Why do you think that the SEC picks on Tennessee's coaches all the time?
I think it's led by ESPN, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'll tell you the reason why. ESPN hasn't liked the University of Tennessee or the state of Tennessee for a very long time. Now, over the last couple of years, things has changed. We've gotten some new coaches on staff. We've got Butch Jones, which he has turned the program around, as we know. But it's going to take time for the Southeastern Conference coaches and other fans to start giving Tennessee a break. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm a whining Vol fan, but I think you ought to give credit where credit's due. Do you agree?
Well, I don't think they do them right. If something happened a year ago and they wait till a fella's won the whole season of basketball, and then they bring this up and he gets fired and sent on his way, I can't see that. If they're going to do it, they ought to do it right at the start, not at the finish.
I agree with that. Are you talking about Coach Martin landing a 5-star recruit for California?
No, I'm talking about the basketball coach that he finished the season, and then they fired him for something that happened down in Alabama, Mississippi, or somewhere.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's what a lot of people don't know, or a lot of people probably have forgotten. Donnie Knoxville, Donnie Tyndall.
I can't never think his name.
Yeah, it's Donnie Tyndall. I think he's done a great job at the University of Tennessee, but the bad part is the fact that he got in trouble at Morehead State. He had some recruiting violations, some minor recruiting violations at Morehead State. He got in trouble there. He went to Southern Miss, and he got in trouble at Southern Miss. And the University of Tennessee, they was going to give Donnie Tyndall a show cause penalty, which means he could not have coached. So Tennessee voided his contract because of the results of the NCAA.
Why did they take him on? They shouldn't have took him on to start with.
I agree, and I made that same comment here over a year ago when they hired him, that they shouldn't hire they should not hire somebody that has NCAA sanctions against him in the past.
They know they're going to bring this stuff up and scandalize UT's whole team. When they didn't do anything and it was the coach, they shouldn't have brought him on to start with.
I agree with that. I agree with you 100%. I could just give you a hug because nobody believed or nobody felt the same way that I did, or I didn't feel like that they felt the same way that I did. We should have never brought Donnie Tyndall to the University of Tennessee, ever.
Well, I thought he would make a good one to start with, but here they come bringing all this stuff up. And they don't tell it to start with. They keep drag, and he's got to go. And when he's gone, then they bring one in that's just got fired. That don't make no sense to me.
I agree with that 100%. But
you agree on something.
Yeah, but here's the reason why that they brought in Rick Barnes from the University of Texas. Rick Barnes technically did not get fired. Rick Barnes and University of Texas agreed to mutually part ways. And the reason why was because they wanted Rick Barnes, the University of Texas, and the athletic director wanted Rick Barnes to fire his assistants. Well, he would not fire the assistants, so they mutually agreed to part ways. And when they did, on a Sunday, well, Tennessee snatched him up, and that is a great hire for the University of Tennessee.
No, well, okay, if that's the way it went, but they don't tell all of that.
You're right, they don't. You kind of have to read and listen and things like that, but that's how it went down for Rick Barnes.
All right, you have a good night.
All right, thank you for the call.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, I missed a call, so if you want to call back in, I apologize. I'll get you right away if y'all want to call back in. Also, that was a great call. Thank you, Miss Mary. We also have the most successful programs in NCAA history. I've always thought that's been pretty impressive, even though Tennessee's not on the list. But I just want to run down a few real quick and just give you some idea of the top 10. As much trouble that Penn State has been in the past, they are number 10. And it's I don't understand that, but it is what it is. Penn State's number 10. Let's see if I can find the rest of them real quick. It's probably not going to let me pull it up. But anyway, Penn State's number 10, Alabama is number 3, and Notre Dame is number 1. But the bottom line is, University of Tennessee wasn't in there. I thought they should have been, just simply because of Coach Neyland. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm a diehard Vol fan. One of the things that we're also going to talk about is which third-year head coach needs to have a big 2015 season. Now we've got 3 coaches that has been in here for 3 years, and actually 4 coaches. Gus Malzahn, Brett Bielema at Arkansas, Butch Jones, and of course Mark Stoops. Now, Mark Stoops, of course, I think he's 7-17 overall, and this is University of Kentucky. He's 7-17 overall. He's 2-14 in the Southeastern Conference. Last year they started out 5-0, but they didn't play a real strong schedule. But at least they're making headway. One of the things about the fact of Mark Stoops is they're a lot patient. They're more patient with the football program at the University of Kentucky than they are the basketball program. We all know that. But do I think Mark Stoops needs to have a better year? I think he needs to have a breakout year. Butch Jones, of course, he's 1-0 in bowl games. He's been here. This will be his 3rd year. His first year he went 5-7. Last year he went 7-5. Did an outstanding coaching job in the bowl game and really beat Iowa. Iowa was never in the game to start with. Brett Bielema, he came from Wisconsin. He is the head coach for University of Arkansas. He's 10-15 overall, 2-14 in the Southeastern Conference, and he's 1-0 in bowl games. His programs took a step forward last season, stamped a 17-game SEC losing streak predating his time in Fayetteville. So a 17-game SEC losing streak. He finally did away with that. Also, Gus Malzahn, he's probably been the most successful college football coach out of these 4 coaches. Although I like Butch Jones's enthusiasm much more than Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn looks like a nerd that should belong at a chess match instead of on the sideline, but he's a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant offensive mind. But he's 20-7 overall, 11-5 in the Southeastern Conference, 2012 Southeastern Conference champion, and a national runner-up. He's 0-2 in bowl games. So we've got 2 coaches out of these 4 that's undefeated in bowl games in the Southeastern Conference, and that's Arkansas, Brett Bielema, and Coach Butch Jones at the University of Tennessee. Now, I guess my point I'm trying to make is, which one of these coaches do you feel like needs to have a breakout 3rd year coming up this season? I think personally, for the program, I think it needs to happen for Mark Stoops. Now, I'm not a Kentucky fan, but at the same time, he's not doing too good. He's got some recruits. He's moving in the right direction, but it's slow going. The only thing I could say is if they would dump some money into that program like they do the basketball program, I'm just sure of the fact that he will be very successful in what he's trying to do at that level. I don't know if y'all heard this also real quick. The Bleacher Report has predicted that Tennessee will beat Alabama, and some of the most predicting the biggest upsets in the Southeastern Conference. I'm going to look this up and tell you who all was on that list, but they picked Tennessee to beat Alabama at Alabama, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think Tennessee will beat Alabama, but here's some of the predictions. One of the predictions is Kentucky over South Carolina. There we go. Mark Stoops getting off to a good start, beating South Carolina, although he almost did the last couple of years. But this year they're predicting that Kentucky will beat South Carolina. They're predicting Tennessee to beat Alabama. I don't know how that's possible. I know we've got some sophomores and we've got some kids that was freshmen last year that's sophomores this year, but I don't think that's going to be the situation. They're playing at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's a different ballgame when you go to Alabama, folks. So I think Bleacher Report got that wrong. Also, Florida over Georgia. I don't know if Jim McElwain can pull that off, especially with some of the recruits that he's lost and some of the players that's gotten in trouble down there, as well as losing Roderick Johnson. Of course, he may be back. Who knows? Also, Arkansas over Ole Miss is another one. Let's get this call. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
Hey, Les.
Hey, what?
You don't have Tennessee's going to beat Alabama, don't you?
How?
Like Butch Jones says, brick by brick.
I don't know. Are you a Tennessee Vol fan?
Yeah.
Okay. You're from Michigan. You're from Baltimore. You're from Michigan. You've been here and there.
Yeah.
But you're a diehard Vol fan. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you honestly think Tennessee will beat Alabama?
Since Butch Jones has been there, I've been.
Oh, really?
You know,
so before Butch Jones, you wasn't a.
I didn't. Well, I liked it. It was all right, but I wasn't. You know.
Yeah.
Just like I am now with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I can tell you, I think Tennessee will win some football games next year. I think they'll win at least 9 football games, possibly 10. I think the only loss that they will have will be one of the wins, or one of the losses will be to Alabama. That is a definite.
Yeah. Well, they did. I heard them say that they'll probably have that this year would be like when T. Martin and them played.
Well, see, I don't look at it. It's going to be this year. I think these sophomore kids. I mean, let's face it. There was 23 freshmen that played last year for the University of Tennessee football program. Now those 23 freshmen will become sophomores. I look at those 23 sophomores to really make some noise when they become juniors and play. I think that's when you'll start seeing a lot of other teams start giving Tennessee the respect. A lot of the polls will start giving Tennessee the respect. Now, if Butch Jones next year doesn't put those 23 juniors to work and have a good season, would he be on the hot seat? Would be my only question.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. You've got some kids that you made noise with last year that's 7-5 as freshmen. This year they're going to be sophomores, and I think they're going to be good sophomores. Like I said, I look for Tennessee to win 9, 10, possibly 11 games this year, and I know that's probably overestimating, and I know Big Earl's probably turning flips right now, if you ever see Big Earl turn flips. But I think he's turning flips because I'm predicting a 9, 10, or 11 win season.
Yeah.
So
I hope they do it.
I do too, brother. You and me both.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right. See you. Bye-bye. The other one, as I mentioned when I answered the phone, was Arkansas over Ole Miss. Arkansas is going to be a much better team this year. Of course, they're going to be playing the University of Tennessee. They're going to be coming to Knoxville playing University of Tennessee this year. It's going to be a tough game. That's another game that I think Tennessee, it could go either way with Tennessee and Arkansas. I think if Tennessee has a good game and stays within the game plan, the crowd gets in early, has a turnover or two. And I know it's already talking about football, folks, but I've been dying here. I don't know if anybody else has been dying for football, but I have been dying. But I think it could go either way, but I think if Tennessee, like I said, gets some early turnovers and put some points on the board, I think it gets Arkansas on the hole early, and I think Tennessee comes out a winner on that game. The next one is Mississippi State over Ole Miss. So there's 2 games at Ole Miss that they're predicting that Ole Miss will lose. One to Arkansas, the other to Mississippi State. The next one is Texas A&M over LSU. Texas A&M now, of course, has the chief, John Chavis. He left LSU and is now the defensive coordinator for Texas A&M. It may take Texas A&M a year or 2. I don't think they'll be ready defensively this year. I could be wrong. Although John Chavis is an excellent defensive mind, can cause some havoc for a lot of offensive coordinators. I don't think that they'll be ready to play John Chavis defense this first year. Could be wrong. But they are predicted to beat. Texas A&M is predicted to beat in next year against LSU. Now, one of the things I wanted to say about predicting some of these games. Last year, if you remember, Colin Cowherd on ESPN predicted Tennessee to beat Alabama. You know what? We played good the first, well, it wasn't the first, it was the last part of the game. I think we scored about 20 points. But the bottom line is we did not have a good game against Alabama. Do I look for things to be different this year? Absolutely. I do. I think Tennessee will play Alabama tough. I still don't think Tennessee will beat Alabama. I mean, I would be off my rocker to think that. One of the things I wanted to mention as well before we go off the air, it's 9:55 now. We'll have about 5 minutes. You know, we pay a lot of tax dollars into the university, to the state, and of course it's a state-funded school, state-run school. So we pay a lot of our taxes, and I'd say some of our taxes goes to the university. Somebody can call in and clear that up. I believe that would be the case. Well, Vols has increased, the University of Tennessee has increased their scholarship aid to their athletes. They are number one out of the Southeastern Conference. They increased it to $5,666. Now what that means is each student athlete will get $5,666. That's what they'll get. Now, that is the largest increase out of all the schools. Let's see where Alabama's at. Alabama is not even listed in the top 15. It's Tennessee, Auburn, Louisville is number 3, Mississippi State is number 4, Texas Tech is number 5. Now this is schools that has increased the scholarship aid to student athletes. Tennessee led all schools. Arkansas is on the bottom at 15, South Carolina 13, Ole Miss is number 10, Mississippi State's number 4, Auburn number 2, Tennessee number 1. That's a whole lot of Southeastern Conference schools has increased that aid. Alabama, on the other hand, is not even in the top 15. I don't know where they're at because they only have a top 15 list. But they spend a lot of money on their coaches. So therefore, my question to you is that something that you think that the school can't increase because of the heavy wages that they have, the high salaries? I heard somebody say today on a sports talk show that some of these high salaries they have an issue with because of the cost of tuition, cost of our taxes, much like the Navy and the Air Force. Of course, they are the guy for Navy, he gets paid $1.5 million a year, and of course those guys don't have to pay for anything. Those players don't have to pay for anything. Plus they have schooling after they're finished playing football as well. They don't have to worry about paying it back, nor does student athletes either. But I think with the increase, I think Tennessee makes a great statement to lead the way. Other than that, Alabama, like I said, wasn't on the list, and I don't like Alabama either, folks, if you just took notice. Also, the top college football running back duos, Tennessee is in the top. I think there are 6th overall in the top corner running back duos for 2015 with Alvin Kamara and Jalen Hurd. We've got some other ones in there that I really don't want to mention on the air because we're running out of time. We've got about 2 minutes left. But Tennessee is set to do some damage with Alvin Kamara and Jalen Hurd. Now, Jalen Hurd, the last report I got from the information that I received is Jalen Hurd is about 240 pounds now, which he's a little bit heavier than he was last year, and he's an Eddie George type running back anyway. So somebody with 240 pounds can run like he does. Will he slow down? Not much, if any at all. Will he still be able to have the power? He'll have more power. Alvin Kamara is a little scat back. He's a little bit smaller than Jalen Hurd, and he's quick to the hole. So they're 6th overall in the running back duos for college football for 2015. It's going to be exciting to watch them play. Now, with that being said, we've got a bunch of other things that we've got to go over, but we don't have time. We've run out of time, so I'll save some of this for Thursday night. For everybody that called in, everybody that listened, I certainly appreciate your time. Certainly appreciate you taking an hour out of your day to join us here on the Just Sports Show. And 100.9 FM, AM 1450, as well as 1450WLAF.com. You can also click on 1450WLAF.com and click on Watch Live or Listen Live, and we'll be on every Tuesday and Thursday night. For our executive producer, Honeybee, my name is Les Martin, and we will see you Thursday night, and you've been watching Just Sports on WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Bird Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Bird Screen.